WCBI News at 10 starts now.
Good evening, I'm Tommy Lopez. We have an update tonight on that car crash on I-55 in Montgomery County. Some of the injuries could be life-threatening, and we know now the names of the two men injured in that crash today. 78-year-old Benny Oberle was airlifted from the crash site there. He was driving that FedEx truck. He was thrown from the cab. A Mississippi Highway Patrol spokesman says his injuries are possibly life-threatening. His truck hit the back of the U-Haul there. That driver's injuries are serious. He's 24-year-old Michael Kozlowski. He's from Louisiana. His U-Haul with that car haul on the back flipped over several times. This happened around 8 o'clock this morning. Troopers are still investigating. A mother and father in Atala County were indicted today in the deaths of 3 children. The children died in a house fire. 3 boys, ages 4 to 11. This was in a fire on December 10th. They were left home alone. Their parents are facing 3 counts of felony child neglect. Atala County Sheriff Tim Nail says 30-year-old Rachel Keith and 35-year-old John Leach are in jail awaiting court appearances. They're set to be arraigned on Monday. New information now in the child neglect arrest of a Starkville woman. Police are accusing Victoria Jones of locking a 4-year-old foster child out of her house. The child was allegedly outside for about an hour. Neighbors called police. In court documents, officers say they found the child soaking wet, cold, and shivering. The child was also begging to be let inside the home. This is on Briarwick Drive. The little girl told police she was left outside in the dark to sit on a tall stool near a dog that had previously bitten her. Jones was given a $5,000 bond in this, charged with deprivation of necessaries with substantial harm. 2 parts of our area in particular are cleaning up tonight as after storms came through last night and early this morning. We saw hail, we saw winds and rain all throughout our area. Our Victoria Bailey has more on the damage in Monroe County.
Might not have clothes on our back, but we still got our life.
Thanks to last night's storm, for Shanae Hughes, her world is upside down.
I got a phone call. I was at work, of course, Hometown Pizza. I was on a delivery. And I get a call, said a tree fell on your home. I'm like, okay. You know, I'm thinking, ain't nothing, so I get there and it's through the house.
Hughes says her initial concern wasn't the house, but her family.
And all I could think about was my child. And then gets there, a tree through the bedroom, one down in the yard, one across the street, windows broken. Total loss. I could have lost a life, because that's normally around about their bedtime. Could have just been me with no kids. But thank the Lord, everybody got a life.
Bunky Goza is the Emergency Management Agency Director for Monroe County, and he says the city is definitely seeing significant damage, but things could have been way worse.
As most important with any event, there's no injuries, no loss of life, and everyone's accounted for. That's the utmost priority any kind of situation happens. So, number one factor, that's great. Number 2 is the people are okay. You know, neighbors take care of neighbors. People got out to take care of themselves.
Goza says cleanup efforts began as soon as the storm stopped, but he needs the community's help to keep the process going.
We're not allowed to go on private property by state law. So what we're doing is the city of Amory came in last night, actually made a push to clear all the roads, which we did that last night. And what we're asking people to do is to bring the debris to the shoulders of the road, which can be picked up by the city of Amory.
Hughes says the timing of this storm couldn't have been at a worse time.
Unfortunately, I've been in the house, about a month, going on 2 months. Didn't have no rent, no homeowners insurance, nothing. Just us.
Victoria, thank you. The Hughes family is receiving assistance from the Red Cross. People received notifications last night as part of the Code Red system for severe weather notices. Also in Amory, dozens of vehicles were damaged at a car dealership. This is in Amory during that hailstorm. It happened at Larry Clark Chevrolet dealership. The building and around 80 vehicles were damaged. There was everything from large dings to broken out windows. Our weather tonight, though, clear. Getting colder tonight. Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
A little bit different tonight, Tommy. You can see with our current conditions in downtown Columbus, 51 degrees. The wind has died down. Some of us already down into the 40s, low 40s of that in Oxford, 44 in Tupelo, 48 in West Point, 48 in Louisville. We'll take it down into the mid-30s tonight. Some spots could be a little bit cooler or a little bit warmer, so there is some frost potential, especially across far northern Mississippi and western Alabama. Protect the plants and move them on indoors just to be on the safe side. Now, tomorrow the clouds thicken. We are cool, upper 40s to low and mid-50s. Rain showers develop. Your full forecast is coming up.
Keith, thank you. There won't be a Republican candidate in the Columbus mayor's race. The Columbus Republican Municipal Executive Committee Monday declined to certify Garthia Halbert, saying she didn't meet the residency requirements. Halbert stated that she would appeal that. The committee then and Halbert, they both set up a meeting to hear what she had to say. She did not attend that meeting. To something that is not a political issue, but we want to tell you about this going on in Jackson. They turned off the water to parts of Jackson. It's a water outage for thousands of people in the Jackson area. City officials are making repairs to a major water line. They've brought out portable toilets and they've put them right outside of the Capitol. This is what it looks like this week. It's not a pretty sight. This started this afternoon, so it's in effect now. A boil water advisory will be in effect after this, but the water is scheduled to be out through Sunday afternoon, so it's really 2 complete days. City leaders have been spreading the word about this for weeks, trying to prepare people. They say 40,000 people will be affected by the water outage. A bill passed overwhelmingly by the Alabama Senate this week would make it illegal to remove or alter any public monument over 20 years old. Supporters say that the Alabama Memorial Preservation Act is about preserving history. Others are asking whose history is being preserved. Josh Ninke has more.
These monuments to Confederate soldiers would be familiar to almost anyone in Alabama. Many towns feature not only monuments, but schools named for Confederate generals. The Alabama Memorial Preservation Act that has passed the Alabama Senate would prevent communities from renaming or moving any monument or building over 20 years old. Troy has a Confederate monument in Town Square. While many like the idea of keeping things the way they are, some don't want the state stepping in.
They don't give us no kind of authority, and we live in the town. Don't ask us nothing. They just do what they want to do.
If they were destroyed or removed, not good, because history, there's stories, and it's important to know where we come from.
A U.S. appeals court recently gave New Orleans permission to remove their monuments to Confederates like President Jefferson Davis. But Bob Wieland at the first White House of the Confederacy in Montgomery says there's another way.
I would really reach out to our sister cities of Memphis and New Orleans if they could somehow incorporate, perhaps their historic trail the way our great city has done. I really think there could be a lot of progress made.
Wieland says Montgomery has done a great job incorporating the civil rights and the Civil War histories together throughout the downtown area.
Jefferson Davis's order from there, going for the firing on Sumter, just steps from where Rosa Parks bravely wouldn't give up her seat. You can't make it up, and I think there's a way, there's a symbiotic relationship that I think can really make Alabamans proud of the progress.
The bill originally protected monuments over 50 years old. That was brought back, though, to just over 20 years old. It would include newer civil rights monuments there.
In Starkville on Saturday, clouds on the increase. We start out in the low 40s, back into the low 50s in the afternoon. A few showers possible by mid to late afternoon. Your weekend forecast is next.
Your first alert weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
All right, I was at Caledonia Elementary School this morning. It was cloudy early today, but we had a great discussion. Look at the kids right here, the fourth graders, talking about all things severe weather, storms, tornadoes, thunder, and lightning, all that good stuff. A couple of classes here had a great time, as usual, at this school visit today. If you want to be one of our schools that we venture out to, our Emerson Animal Hospital Weather School, go to our website, WCBI.com, fill out the form, and we'll schedule something. All right, this is our Alpha Insurance time lapse from Columbus and Tupelo this afternoon and this evening. The sun going on down, absolutely nice weather. Now, if you look closely with our Columbus time lapse, you can see some higher clouds starting to stream on in. That's in advance of our system coming our way for tomorrow. And those clouds coming on in right now of the high variety at this point, but They are thicker, lower to our southwest, showers in Texas, and even some snow flying out there across the high plains. Those two features will combine to give us some wet weather tomorrow and tomorrow night. Now, don't forget this weekend is the time we spring forward 1 hour Sunday morning at 2 o'clock. You want to be on schedule for your church services if you're going out early on Sunday, so don't forget about that. This is our planner in Tupelo for tomorrow. Increasing clouds at 8 o'clock, 38 degrees by noon into the mid to upper 40s. If we're lucky, low 50s tomorrow, and there could be a few showers by mid to late afternoon, perhaps even a little bit of isolated showers late in the morning, but I think most of this moisture comes on in the second half of the day. Upper 40s, low 50s north, low and mid 50s farther south, and some mid 50s if we're lucky here in West Alabama. And there could actually be a few wet snowflakes in far north Mississippi later on tomorrow evening and tomorrow night. Not an impact by any means here. Temperatures will be at or above freezing, but there could be a few wet snowflakes. So just consider that for what it's worth here, a late dose of winter, even though technically we are in a spring month now of March. So things are a little bit reversed this year, it seems like. But moisture is coming on in for our Saturday. Most of that will be Saturday evening and Saturday night, but that will clear out, though, by mid-morning on Sunday, it would appear, and skies will become nice and sunny as we close out the weekend. Another system, though, zips on in as we get into your Monday. Now, here's the big picture going into next week. This big trough in the eastern part of the country, that will keep us cool. And look at this 7-day forecast. Wow. Crazy stuff considering how warm it has been. Low 50s tomorrow, mid 50s Sunday with that increased sunshine. 55 on Monday, there are those additional showers. Low 50s Tuesday and Wednesday, a good chance at a freeze here either Tuesday night or Wednesday night.
Wow.
So there could be a little bit of frost tonight, maybe a freeze next week. If you have some tender vegetation, be aware of that going forward.
Crazy transition. We have the storms, we have some warm weather for a whole lot of the last 2 months, and now it's cold.
Right, and we just had the warmest February on record in Tupelo, and now we're going back to winter for spring break week.
Nothing like spring break.
No, right,
should be.
And it's all ruined. Go somewhere warm south,
Yeah,
to the south. So.
There you go. All right, Keith, thank you very much. There's more than just dinner on the menu tonight for these people. We'll tell you how they're celebrating books and food in Tupelo when we come back.
You're watching WCDI News at 10 with Tommy Lopez.
New tonight, here on a Friday night, hundreds of people had the chance to support their public library system tonight. This is in Tupelo. People at an event called A Novel Affair. They got to eat some good food from a well-known local chef also. It's an annual fundraiser for the Lee County Library. It was at the Summit Center in Tupelo this year. It included cooking demonstrations by Chef John Currents. He owns the City Grocery Restaurant Group.
So nobody that that I know in my circle of friends of chefs ever was went through a program that said that you need to think about giving back to your community. But I think because of what we do, it just becomes it comes very naturally to us that that feeding the community, in the way of, of philanthropic efforts as well, as food is, a way to make sure that, we keep our communities healthy.
Current also has a nonprofit, Move On Up Mississippi, and promotes childhood health. A New Hope middle school teacher grabs a pair of shears before getting her first round of chemo today. Team NH Heroes Relay for Life kicked off with a haircut. Carson Latham allowed Mitzi Brown to shave his head. Brown was diagnosed with breast cancer. Latham wanted to shave his head to honor the teacher along with other educators and in memory of his grandfather. Relay for Life in Lowndes County is April 28th. The Lady Green Wave are looking to bring home the first basketball title in school history. Could this be the one for the record books? We'll find out next in sports.
WCBI coverage of the SEC tournament is brought to you by OCH Regional Medical Center, Advanced Medicine, Compassionate Care, and Ameriprise Financial Advisor Stephen Black in Columbus. Take charge of your dream for a confident retirement with Ameriprise Financial Services.
Ole Miss trying to keep its magic alive in the SEC men's tournament, fighting for a chance at the NCAA tournament, but it falls just short. This game literally just ended probably about 30 seconds ago. Arkansas takes down Ole Miss 73-72. The Razorbacks will go on to face Vanderbilt in the semifinals. Absolutely brutal loss for Ole Miss. It reminded me of the Ole Miss-Arkansas football games. It was which team could get a stop first. But unfortunately, it was Arkansas that came away with a couple quick layups in transition. Ole Miss couldn't make the big shot down the stretch. So we'll have a full recap from the Rebels with postgame and a full recap of the tough loss against Arkansas. That will be coming up on our website tonight, WCBI.com. Or make sure to go follow Sports Director Robbie Donahoe on Twitter. He'll have a full recap as well for you on Twitter. The West Point Lady Green Wave looking to bring home the gold ball for the first time in school history. Looking for some magic to finish the season. West Point, as I mentioned, this is their first state title appearance as a women's basketball team. Got off to a good start. Here it's Amari Hurd in transition. She's going to find Amaya Rush. She scores inside with the soft touch. Lady Wave, they're up early on. Later on, it'd be Jamia Holling. She's going to get the ball. Nice outlet there from Hurd, gets to Holling. She finishes with the score. Back and forth we go in the first half, but it'd be more from the Lady Wave. Hurd gets the ball down low. Nice strong post move inside. It'd be a 2-point Neshoba Central lead at halftime. Fourth quarter we go, West Point down 1. Hurd again in transition. She scores. Lady Wave retake the lead. They're up 1. Later on off the inbounds, it's Hollings again. She scores inside. But in the end, West Point falls in its first title appearance in school history, 56-45 to Neshoba Central. Neshoba Central hit big free throws down the stretch. Here's what head coach Dash Daniel had to say about the team's good effort.
Extremely proud of them. Never expected to be here this year. We're young, one senior starter. I plan on being back here next year. The work they put in at the end of this season, they see what they can get. A couple miscues on offense, not rebounding on defense, probably cost us a game. The score doesn't reflect how close it was the entire game.
And now we'll jump over to 2A boys. Baldwin having a magical run in the 2A boys state tournament. Let's see how the Bearcats did. Looking to bring home another gold ball. They're coming off that buzzer beater from Tuesday facing Coahoma County. All Baldwin early on. Calvin Harris misses the shot, but the big fella doesn't give up on the play. He gets inside, nice dish inside. That's Harris for the finish. Baldwin would be up 9 here in the second quarter. Later on, look at this move by Harris. Just splits through the defenders, finds Felix Hayes for the triple. Felix drains it. That's what he does. That'd be an and one bucket. Felix going to line for 4. Baldwin up 12 at halftime. Third quarter we go. Hayes is going to miss the corner triple, but Harris is right there for the putback. It'd be a Bearcat 5-point lead. But then momentum totally shifted in the second half. It'd be all Coahoma County and the Red Panthers in the second. They would outscore Baldwin by 25 in the second half. And Baldwin's magical season comes to a close with a 60-47 loss. We have more from head coach for Baldwin as well as senior Felix Hayes. We have more on that on our website, WCBI.com. Now we'll take a look at some of the diamond. A great day on the diamond for Mississippi. Here, first game of SEC season, Mississippi State wins 5-2 over 5th-ranked Texas A&M. State has now won 16 straight games. Now we'll go over to Ole Miss. They've won 16 straight games. This is their 500th win in program history with a 12-6 win over Eastern Kentucky. And the success continued on the baseball diamond. Here we go. Mississippi State, Connor Pilkington had himself a career day. Fans 13 batters. That's a career high. He's also the first state pitcher to throw 10-plus K since Zach Houston. Former New Hope Trojan Wells Davis was one of the only people to connect on a hit for South Alabama. These two will be in action. We'll have some highlights coming up tomorrow. And then for Ole Miss, another gem on the mound for Mississippi. David Parkinson hit a no-hitter through 7. Ole Miss gets the W 2-0. Another good game from Will Golson. Coming up tomorrow, Tommy, Starkville, they're going to be trying to bring home a gold ball for the first time since 1992. We'll have all those highlights coming up on WCBI Sports.
Yeah, we look forward to it. Tom, thank you. Well, the final look at the weekend forecast coming up next.
WCDI sports coverage of Mississippi High School State Championships is brought to you by OCH Regional Medical Center. Advanced medicine, compassionate care.
Last look at the 7-day forecast. Some low 50s tomorrow. Some showers building on in during the course of the afternoon and evening. Brighter sun by Sunday afternoon. Cool weather, though, for the next 7 days. Several chances for a freeze next week.
Yeah, cool. Getting cold next week.
Yeah, and it must be Friday. If you lost the jacket,
Yeah,
ties a
no, I'm
little
ready.
loose.
Yeah. Hope you had a great work week and have a great weekend. We're back tomorrow at 6 p.m.